Heyo! If you're a beginner photographer or someone who has been shooting for over 10 years, you're gonna wanna check this out. Evoto AI has reached out to me to partner with them again. Thank you, Evoto. And I'm so glad that they did because I have been genuinely using them to edit my photos ever since I found out about them. I love editing my photos. I find so much joy in like messing with the color grading, but I do wish that I was able to speed up my process because it does take a big chunk of my time, especially when I have like hundreds of photos to send out as deliverables, and even more so if I have to retouch everything. If you're someone who has to do a lot of editing and retouching their photos, or even if you're just like starting out in photography, this is a really budget-friendly and effective way for you to elevate your editing workflow, all while enhancing the final product of your photos as well. Let's hop into it. So Evoto AI is a photo editing software that has a ton of different features that come with it. If you want to check it out, you can actually try it out right now for free. You'll have access to every single one of their features in here without any commitments to like a subscription or anything like that. The link is in the description below, and I'll talk about that more in a second. So this is a glance at what Evoto looks like when you first open it. Yesterday I just took some self-portraits that are actually all right in here. How I took them is I actually used their tethering feature. That is a new thing with Evoto. For some reason I thought it was going to be a little bit like tricky to use, but honestly it was so straightforward. All I did was connect my camera to my laptop using a USB cord and then started shooting. As you're shooting, it transfers all the photos into Evoto directly, and then it's ready for editing. There are definitely some favorite self-portraits that I got from yesterday, this being one of them. So I wanted to start off the editing by showing off one of my favorite things about Evoto, and that's their like blemish removal, skin retouching feature. For me personally, it's an amazing time saver, and it means that I don't have to sit for hours and hours editing, retouching one photo. I can like batch retouch photos. That's pretty incredible. But yeah, I'm already in the portrait retouching tab right here, and let's see what this freckle and acne slider can do for my skin. Boom, they're just completely gone. I have some like acne scarring on my chin right here, and you can see like this is the before and after. It just completely erases it right here. See that? I love that even though this is turned up all the way, the finish of this looks really natural. And it even keeps some details that you might want to keep in your portrait retouching. I have this like tiny little mole, I guess, on my chin here, and I can just click this button right here and bam, it's gone. Like it never existed. Personally, I do really like my mole, so I would typically keep that in, but for dramatic effect, I'm gonna this face mole removal on. Not bad, right? That's just with like the blemish removal. Here's the before and after. You'll notice that there are like little Evoto watermarks throughout your photo. Don't even worry about that. Once you actually export your photo, the watermark will disappear. So how Evoto and this like exporting thing works out is that you pay per export. Pay for 1 credit, you get 1 photo export. But if you sign up below using the link that I have in my description, you get 30 free credits, meaning you get 30 free photos that you can edit in Evoto for free. All you have to do is sign up, log in, and then start editing. It's not gonna ask you for your credit card once you sign up. It's not gonna ask you to subscribe to anything. It's not a subscription-based service. It's all credit-based, so you know you can pay for exactly what you'll be using. And it really is a budget-friendly option for all you photographers out there. Each credit is literally like 4 to 7 cents. That's after your first 30 free credits, of course. Okay, I also wanted to show you the like dodge and burn feature that I really like. Okay, real talk, my skin looks pretty dang good these days, but let's just pop on this freckle and acne slider on just to get rid of that acne scarring I have on my chin right here. Let's get rid of that face mole once again. And then down here, there's this skin retouching smooth face skin, which is like the dodge and burn feature that they have. Let's pop this on, see how it does. Okay, it seems so subtle, but once you see the before and after, you'll really see the difference here. See that? So this is the before. You can kind of see some like darkness right here on my cheek, and it just like completely smooths it out. So pretty. I took some self-portraits that I actually filmed, and you can check it out right here. It goes over my little self-portrait process. Nonetheless, my skin was looking real shiny, so let's go check out those photos. Okay, so this is one of my favorite shots that I got from that photo shoot. Definitely see that I had some acne going on and like my acne scarring that I have here. So again, let's just use this freckle and acne slider, and woo, look at that. Before and after. You can see all these are just like gone. And then let's go down and see what this skin retouching slider can do. Woo. It's quite subtle, but you can see that it actually tones down the like shininess of my skin. Honestly, I could probably use some dodge and burn right now. But because of that, it brings out more of like the blush and like my makeup. You can actually see that I have some like pearl detail going on my face, and it's kind of picking it up as like a blemish. You see how it's picking it up and kind of like erasing out my face. What you can do is actually select specific parts of your face that you want to keep in if you are finding that it's taking away too much. How you do that is you pop over to this pencil tool right here, and you can literally just erase the spots that you don't want it to affect. You mess with like the size of the brush and the softness over here, but essentially you just kind of want to go in and erase the spots that you want to keep in. So I'm just gonna erase all these little pearls because I want these details to stay in. Okay, and bam, keeps in the pearl detail. Much better. So I don't usually wear glasses for my photo shoot because I just want to avoid any like glasses glare that might impact the overall image. But I actually purposely wore my glasses for this specific feature because I wanted to see how well it could do. Let's try this photo. Don't mind this like rainbow streak that's going across my chin. It's just like one of those window light catchers that I have. Anyway, excuse that. But yeah, I really wanted to test this out. So what I did was set up a softbox and basically look directly at it. So let's see how well this glasses glare slider can do. Oh wow, dang, that's pretty good. Actually, that's pretty incredible. Like if I zoom out a little bit, it looks like super smooth. That rainbow slider's going up, boom. Dang, let's see that before and after. Oh my gosh, wow. Look at that. See, and that's why I usually don't like to have glasses worn on my models or myself when I'm taking self-portraits because it is so distracting, but now I guess I can. Okay, one more. I just wanted to see if it works on this image because I have that like stripe going down my like eye. Wow, look at that. This specific pair of glasses has like a green sheen to them when light gets caught in them. So yeah, that looks so much nicer. I think the more of the focus is on the actual eyes rather than a layer over the eye that distracts from like the subject. Very nice. Let's go down and try the gentle smile. This photo is like initially very moody, but let's see how it looks with the gentle smile. Okay. I feel like it does give it a little bit of warmth to the face. I just want to pop on this like freckles and acne one just for my sake. And the skin retouching. Much better. There's that before and after. I love how smooth the skin looks right here on the cheek. Let's try this eye brightness. I feel like some of these photos are very focused on the eyes. See what it does for this one. I really like the slider adjustment system because you can really decide like how much or how little of an effect that you want to add to your photo. For instance, like I would feel for my taste, it would be a little bit too much to have the eye brightness like all the way. But having it down more like on this side of the scale is more aligned with like my taste when it comes to editing. Ooh, I really like that you can kind of like isolate individual parts of the eye. So I actually like the iris like all the way up because it really makes it more punchy. Whereas for this photo specifically, the sclera, like whites of the eye needs to stay pretty low. Ooh, I like this one too. Another one of my favorite features that Evoto offers that I haven't seen on other photo editing software is the removal of the stray hair. Now in this specific photo, I have some stragglers going on right here. So we're gonna go down to hair and then try to get rid of those. See, watch what happens. Oh, it's all gone. Before and after. Before and after. Makes for a much cleaner portrait. I personally find editing out hair and like stray hair is really tedious, but is something that I do quite often because hair just like does whatever it wants sometimes. So having this like feature of being able to remove the stray hairs with just a slider is a really great way for you to save time in your editing workflow. So it's perfect if you do like any professional work, like commercial, branding, wedding photography. I mean, really anything that relates to photographing people. And the best part is that you can like actually take any edits that you did on one photo and then batch sync all those edits to an entire gallery. So say like all my photos have this like stray hair situation going on, which they probably do honestly. I can hold shift and then I can even just click Control A and that'll select like your whole gallery. I can go over here and hit sync and it should apply it to your whole gallery. So now say I had like 50 photos to edit and client specifically asked for their hair to be like cleaned up. Instead of spending like hours on every single one of those photos, I have it all done with just a couple clicks. Okay, here's a photo that I took a couple years ago. When I was originally editing those photos, I had to go in and like clean up all of these dirty footprints that were on the backdrop. Similar to like editing stray hair, it is very tedious and something that I don't personally enjoy about editing. Evoto has like a feature where it can just clean it up for you and it looks so good, so freaking good. Let's head over to this background section over here. I'm just gonna click this button right here and it should just clean up the entire photo. I wish that I could do that manually. Look at that. That is just beautiful. And you can even zoom in like around like the details of the photo and you can see it's like there's no like weird blurring that's happening. Like it's so freaking clean. Before and after. Look at that. Amazing. It even cleaned up some of the actual like background area right here. Do you see that? Like there's like some texture of like the actual paper itself, but it just like really just smoothed it out. And if you're like into like mixed media, which is actually something that I've been wanting to like dabble into, you can actually head over here to this headshot backdrop changer and completely isolate your subject from the background. Yeah, you have like a multitude of like different backgrounds that you can select from. You can also like mess with the sky replacement. Here's a photo that I took a couple months back and I really love it, but I always felt like this cloud right here was like a little bit weirdly placed. So let's go change the sky, you know, why not? Let's just try this first one right here. Wow. Okay, I actually love that. Here's the before and after. Oh, it actually gives like so much more focus on the actual subject rather than this like big like blob over in the corner. Oh, I want to see some other ones. Nice. Ooh, Starry Night? I just want to see what this looks like with this photo. Oh my gosh, you guys. Wow, look at that. This looks a little off just because of like the lighting situation. It doesn't match, but I am going to Moab in a couple weeks, so maybe this will come in handy and maybe I'll do some like night portrait photography. Super cool. The de-wrinkling of the clothes. This is another one of those things where it can save you so much time. Ooh, let's just try it on this photo. So normally I don't have any issue with like the wrinkles in this clothing because I do think it looks very natural for this photo specifically and for like this specific dress. But let's just see what happens. Let's just like pop this on and see what it can do. What I do love about it is that it does keep all the like necessary wrinkles that would keep the clothing looking natural, like the natural folds of it. So like for example, right here on like the top area, it does keep like these big wrinkles. But if you go down over to the dress, like the skirt part, it gets rid of all these right here. All these like extra like little waves and folds that like doesn't really need to be included in the photo. This is a photo that I showed in my last Evoto video, but it's just, I cringe at it because I clearly should have like steamed this dress, but it's a really good example of like what this feature can do, like how powerful it is. Let's pop on that de-wrinkle right here. And again, keeps the essential wrinkling and folding of the clothes that make it look normal. Oh my God, that before and after is crazy. Gets rid of all the little wrinkles that I should have steamed out. Evoto, thank you for steaming my clothes. Okay, so I actually did want to go in and edit some of these photos because like, I really like this photo. Actually, I changed my mind. I think I want to do photo. I think this is one of my favorite shots that I got yesterday. So if you notice like over here on the left, there are a ton of like presets that you can use and throw onto your photo. Let's try out a couple of these. Ooh, I really like that one. Very subtly different from the original image, but it kind of gives it a slightly blue hue and like lifts the blacks a little bit. I really like this one. What Evoto also has is these things called AI color looks. So like similarly to like traditional presets, you can use them to batch sync to like a group of photos. But what's different about them and like the technology that it uses is to actually adjust like the exposure and like the white balance to make sure it matches evenly through the photos rather than like slapping on a preset on top of the photo. So I'm gonna go over here into their AI color looks section and just kind of pick through the ones that I like. I'm gonna do a little bit of my own adjustments here in the basic section. I really like my photos to be like quite vibrant. Okay, I'm gonna go in quickly with some of the skin retouching features. Just check out the overall photo. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is select all the ones that had me laying down on the ground here and I'm going to sync. So now all the color adjustments and the AI color look that I use and even the like stray hair removal, skin retouching, blemish removal, all of that is applied to every single photo that I selected. And it only took me the time of editing one photo. Does this lighting make me look like scary? I want to reiterate that Evoto AI is a great tool if you're looking to speed up your workflow. You can try it out if you'd like completely for free. With the link in the description below, you can get 30 free credits that will be valid for 1 month. And once you click the link, you can sign up, log in, and start editing and retouching. You'll have access to all the features and no like subscriptions or anything like that. I genuinely use this myself. I edited my last couple photo shoots using Evoto because I love the skin retouching feature so much. If you're looking for a way to speed up your editing process, whether you need more time in other areas of your photography business or you just need some help with your editing skills, this could be a really good option for you. And let me know what you think about Evoto AI. Have you used it before? Do you think the tethering feature would be something that you would use? Let me know down below. Typically, how long does it take you to edit a set of photos? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to always be creating and capturing beautiful photos with your camera, and I'll see you next week. Bye!